blame. So, we are ready to go. And it's a pretty tense atmosphere down on the floor. Both teams know how important this game is. Not just bragging rights within the Asian division, but a desperate bid for a win on the VNL. China in yellow are going to receive. And in the red kit, it'll be Japan to serve, playing from right to left. Best of 5 sets. Japan v China. Set 1 then, with Nishida serving. Away we go. Good touch already from Yamamoto. I told you he flies. Nishida couldn't put the ball away on that occasion, so Japan go again. And this time get it done. And it's going to be that ball control that China have to try and break down. It'll be that ball control that will potentially win Japan this match. They certainly come into the game as marginal favourites. And a great early look at the left-hander Nishida. With 2 massive swings, one from the service line, one in the opposite position, before Sekida opens the middle channel up. Another great serve. Good pass, though, from Tong. Well, it's never say never in the backcourt from Japan. And that's gone long, has it? No, just touched the line. A few of the Japanese defenders looking at each other there as if that was going to be flying out, but Ra has put it in. Look at this for defence, though. That is right on the edge of the envelope. Now, the danger serve for Japan. He was brilliant yesterday from the service line, Jan, against Canada. Great pass from Yamamoto. And Nishida puts his first really big kill away. Yuji Nishida, just a youngster at 19 years of age. 1.86 m tall, but touches 346 on his spike approach, and he cranks it 106.8 kilometers per hour. And the J-Tech stings opposite player, puts one away for his national squad. China will be looking to do a very similar thing to the USA. Going to target fast sets out and over the top of the shorter players on the Japanese side of the net, which in this case is Sekita. Stands just 1.75 m, the backup setter. And to put that in context, he's got a big jump, but he can still only touch 295 on the block, the playmaker. But what a great pair of hands he's got, just fires that one out. Decent tip from Ishikawa through the block. 2 players in the Japanese side on a Japan Volleyball Association contract to keep them in the country ahead of 2020. Ishikawa is one of them. The other is the captain, Nagida. And we've already got our blueprint for the match. Japan will scrap and scrap and scrap until they can make points, until they can wear China down in the rallies. Fearsome defence, clever ball control, thoughtful attacking, whereas China will just try and go big and high, keep putting the ball away over the blockers. Good defence. Nice little off-pace play, and that's going to be Japan's ball, because number 2, Jiang, has put his foot under the net. Cannot do that, can't step over the centre line. And it's easy to do as you're trying to push away from the net and get back into court. It's easy to put your foot across the line. Well spotted by our second official, referee Macias of Mexico. Dai. I said China have done their homework, Japan have done their homework. Standing in the right places in defence at the moment. And forcing China to have to hit 2 and sometimes 3 times in a rally. Dai this time puts it away. Looks a little bit gassed out there, doesn't he, the wing spiker? A little bit of help from the net to get that past Donadera. Back to Jiang. Good set. Oh, it's beautiful. Sekida certainly punches above his weight, the setter for Japan, but the man he's just set the ball to even more so. There are not many players that stand 186 playing at this level in the world game. It's just a reminder what a superstar youngster Nishida is. And he started well.
Too fast to approach.
Number 13, he starts to anticipate. This time don't follow. This time he don't follow. Quick, remember defense over.
So an early timeout before the technical timeout arrives. Remember, we get technical timeouts, the enforced stoppage by the game itself at 8 and 16 points. Coaches also have another 2 timeouts at 30 seconds apiece that they can use, plus the substitutions, plus the 2 challenges. There's plenty of opportunity for the coaches to stop the game and talk with the players. But this is a great start. Sekita now into the back line, so slightly taller block in the front court for Japan. Dai. Easy defense for Yamamoto. Oh, well, that's an unusual one. Thought that would be quite easily recycled by Japan. Dai with the hit, Yamamoto recycles. And then a decent block from Jiang, China's top scorer. And that takes him back to the service line. Well, that won't help his stats. Three players on court over 2 meters tall at the moment for China. Oh, it's stunning. Well, we've got round pretty quickly to Nishida serving again. And he is an absolute pleasure to watch. It's great fun watching a young player who seems to have no fear. And that has been thumped. 114.9 kilometers per hour. Technical timeout arrives. Japan in control here. So not enough ball control for the Chinese team at the moment. That's what's really causing the problem for them. So solid enough hit from China, but their ball control not quite good enough at the moment. They're playing on the edge here and getting away with it. Dai with another kill. And that takes Dai back to the service line. So nice work, very good jump and drift in the air. Japanese players trying to make sure the taller blockers just can't find them at the net. Now watch this, lovely jump. And then goes back against the blocker. Chen thought he had him. A very nice turn from one of the new guys on court. Yamachi, tallest player on the Japanese team, the only man over 2 meters tall, gets himself an ace. He has the most crazy serving style I think we see on the VNL. Arms and legs everywhere, but the contact point tends to be pretty good, and he gets a lot of movement on the ball. Must be horrendous to watch as a passer, watching this coming towards you and trying to work out where the ball's going. That's better. Jiang, nice firm hit. So Yamachi, as is always the case, the middle blocker usually vacates the court for the libero. Chen, other middle blocker, along with Rao for China. Decent pass again from Japan. Has to be reused by Nishida. Well, as this game goes on, China will begin to read what Japan are doing with a lot more ease. Now watch this block from Liu. It's quite a nicely formed block. He's trying to point that ball back into court. Couldn't quite do it there, but the concern for Japan will come when China start to read what's going on. Then the blockers may be able to function a little more effectively. Still can't get this ball to Shan. But they're still getting away with it, China. And here he is. Here's the danger man, Shan. Has to be the most laid-back setter playing at the moment. Just wanders around the court, but watch the ferocity of the jump serve. Just long. 3 aces yesterday, and lots of serves that caused Canada all sorts of problems in service reception. But missing that one. There he is. Never seems really to talk to the rest of his team when he's the setter. You would expect the setter to be communicating all the time, but he kind of just jogs in, makes the play, carries on. Yeah, nicely done. And a super spike through the middle from Japan. That's a heavy hit from Taishi Onodera. 23-year-old middle player, stands 2 meters and 1, plays for JT Thunders. So Japan do have 2 players out on the floor over 2 meters, Yamachi being the other middle blocker at 2 meters and 4. Yeah, nicely done. Really good set. Much better pass from China. That allows Chan to really open the net up. Liu Libin with the serve. Good line serve. And Yamamoto saw the wall of water coming towards him. So all the players store their water, so you don't really want to run into that. To check all of his angles there, just to make absolutely sure that he wasn't going to get thumped, but couldn't get it back into play. Ace serve then for Liu. Another decent hit. Now, just came off the block. Seen those challenged before, but this must have just touched Young. Few signs out there that China are gradually playing themselves into this match. Onodera. Well, you saw what he was trying to do there. Set up as if he was going to hit that cross court and then tried to whip it to the line with a very late change, but shoves it in the net. And we've hit a mid-set malaise here. All gone a little bit quiet out on court. Fukuzawa, brilliant pipe. He had a little chat before that with the setter Sakita. Watch how quick this is. That's at what, 1.5 meters out of the hands in the air, and Fukuzawa's on it. That's virtually a quick attack from the back line. Good work. Every time the ball's in, Jan is able to use all of his attackers, and that gives him options. Trying to open that middle channel, trying to make it easier for the wing spikers. Nice touch. Great pickup from Liu. And the other wing spiker, Dai, does the job. Wasn't the best set. Brought Dai a long way in off his wing, but he stayed high and backed himself to beat the block. But this is a sweet pickup from Liu. Fine kill into the corner from Dai. Signs that China are just starting to roll a bit here, starting to play. There's a touch lazy from Zhang. Never pancake when you can take a step to the ball and just play it. If you could have this one again, he wouldn't do that. Second technical timeout arrives then. Japan still with a 4-point lead, but China with some encouraging signs in that middle phase.
Right now, they're not jumping. They're not commit on quick. When you're in the middle, you can play so. Yeah, they wait.
Ishikawa, along with Fukazawa, two excellent wing spikers out on court for Japan at the moment. Ishikawa doing a really good job, finding the right angles, getting the ball off the blockers, and the ace serve as well to his name. He'll take that. Decent start from the Japanese wing spiker. It's only minor concerns at the moment, but the last couple of hits from Nishida for Japan have been touched by the block. The blocker seems to know where he's going at the moment, getting hands on the ball. So Japan have to put a bit of pressure on again here as we move into the business end of set one. Brilliant pass from Dai. Easy kill. There's only going to be one winner there. Nishida standing 186, touches 330, so it's a really massive jump that he has to touch 330 on the block. But Dai, touching around about 340, can just go over the top of those fingers. And the actual contact point when he goes through the ball, still going to be over the top of that block. Fukazawa waits to pass. Most experienced player in the Japanese team at the moment, 32 years of age, 121st cap today. And he does indeed pass the ball beautifully. That's a wonderful shot. There's our man that we were just having a look at in the last video package, Ishikawa. And this pipe attack is working an absolute treat. Sekida just running it either side of himself, so it's not always straight down the middle from position 6. Sometimes it's 1.5, sometimes it's 6.5. It's all working. Yamachi with that tricky serve. Good reach on the block from Japan. Fukazawa with a smile to his middle blocker to say, well, you had to go for it. But unfortunately, the middle player, Onodera, turning round, swinging an arm at this and knocking it away from Fukazawa when he was just about to play it. China coming back into this. This is going to come back. But a free ball, easily finished. From that side on camera, you know it's a good set when you've got a couple of people into the air and you really can't see where the ball has gone until the player hits it. Dai just ruining the furniture on his defensive run there. And that's a nice kill from Fukazawa. He's trying a little bit too hard at the moment, is the number 11 for Japan, Yuji Nishida. Still young, still learning. And this is a good game for him to get some experience. And this is the serve that can always bring China back into a set, if Zhang can get it right. That's brilliant. No, it's wide. Not as brilliant as originally suspected. And that's 2 missed serves from Zhang, and that's honestly the first sort of emotion I think we've seen from him for a while. Double sub. So this will be the way this happens through most of this match, and we are going to see a contribution from Atake. So he comes on in the front court for Sekita. So they take the short setter out, put the big opposite on, and then they do exactly the same for the back court. So out comes Nishida, on comes the backup setter today, Fuji. And it's a good tactical substitution that just gives you attackers in the front line for 6 rotations, and that's a fine kill. And Yuichi Nakagaichi, the Japanese coach, will be pleased because it's always good when a plan comes together. 2015, China called the timeout, Japan flying again.
现在问题在哪？第一点，他们遗传，所以我们那个要么就发球得发出来，要么就得防守。因为他们现在进攻打太顺了。我们如果现在篮网碰到球的话，防守要加强。往前再来半步，好吧？这是你的球啊！清楚一点，清楚。
Raul Lozano, both timeouts burned, can't stop the match with a 30-second timeout anymore. Have to challenge or would have to make a substitution. We haven't had a challenge yet, have we, in this game? So Lozano's assistant coach, former player as well, Juan Manuel Saramarella. All Argentinian bench for China at the moment. Fukuzawa off pace to keep it in, and that's a really good block from Onodera. Japan won't get many of those today, but when they come along at a crucial time like this, that's important. And Ra will be annoyed with himself because he certainly looked to have the room there to get past the Japanese middle player. Lead opened up to 6. Now does Fukuzawa go for this one? No, still goes off pace. That's more like it. A little bit of a flail from Ra, but he got his hand on it, and that's good enough. Most of these middle blockers have got hands like dinner plates anyway, so pretty easy for them to make contact. Liu to serve. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, and that's been a pressure zone for Japan. China has certainly targeted that. And he's hit this beautifully to beat Yuki Ishikawa. Bit of fade on it, thumb down hit. Just hitting it from inside to out. Really nice shot. Ishikawa beaten all ends up there. It's Japan's turn to stop the game with a timeout.
Your front. Manager say that. Okay. When do the setter? You can get short time. Not so many. Hi guys,
What a privilege to be actually inside those timeouts. That's when we try and stop talking and listen to what the coaches have got to say. You're not going to hear a lot of real magic down there. There's a lot of basics goes on. But it's just great to see the body language, the reaction of the players. But that timeout was just about upsetting Liu's service run here. They don't want a second ace. Decent serve, easily passed by Yamamoto. And that's going to be a net touch against the setter, Fuji. Looked like a good pass to me, but Fuji just got his angles wrong and he's brushed the net, which is completely out of bounds to the players. So Fuji just communicating the next attack with a couple of hand signals to his players. Good hit, really good hit. We might see our first challenge, will we? China going to ask the question? No, it's long, and they're going to accept that. Got more excited than the Chinese players did there. Seemed to know that one was out. Onodera to serve. Well, he's been helped back up off the floor. I don't think Jam, the Chinese setter, is in the best of nick. Pretty sure his knee's in poor shape. Look at him go down to the floor there like a sack of potatoes, but it's a cracking set. And then he's his teammates have to come and pick him up again, dust him off. Is there something in this first set for China? Well, he's done it just. Is Sayataki, the Panasonic Panthers opposite player, just about getting the ball away. And Japan 2 points away from claiming set one. It will be Ataki to serve, so they're going to flip the substitution in the front court, and they're going to play this next rally, I think, without a setter. Yeah, no setter on court for Japan. So someone's going to have to set it. It's going to be Nishida, who goes wide to Ishikawa. Oh, dear. What a mess. Well, that's horrible from China. And it does occasionally happen. There's a lot of traffic moving around as players get into position when they think they've got an easy ball coming. But the traffic, unfortunately, just getting in the way of the defender. Plenty of set points for Japan. Ataki, good hit onto Dai. Dai's got to do it again. And he goes into the block and down onto the line. And without a challenge from China, it's not forthcoming. It is Japan's first set. 25 points to 19 then. A little bit hot and cold from both teams in that one, but Japan, as we expected, showing just that slightly higher level of consistency. But I don't think China are out of this game by any means. If they can just improve their performance, especially on service receive, by just 20–25%, get that ball into the setter more frequently, and China can still challenge in this match. But for the moment, it's Japan in control, and it's Japan that had the lion's share of the highlights from set one. So far, so good for Japan. Let's take a look at the spike contact points of both teams. Pretty even distribution from China, but not a huge amount of ball right on Zhan's head. So very difficult for him to really get some decent sets away. For Japan, well, really consistent. Great ball control, trying to open up that middle channel, and then that gives the outside attackers a little bit more room to work if you can pin the middle blocker down. So good control from Japan, good consistency in the main. 25-19 in the rally point scoring system is a convincing start to the match. So good across the board though from both teams. Pretty tidy from China, and certainly signs of a recovery during phases of set one. So let's not count the team in yellow out just yet. For Japan, they just have to keep the quality going. Remember, they've got the entire team from yesterday to come on from the bench if they need them. I suspect we'll see the double substitution used again. That should work pretty well with Fuji and Ataki coming in. Japan went on a world tour with their big team, with Saito and Matsudaira, part of the coaching group, with Ono, their big opposite. In the 60s, toured the world and showed volleyball off, and Actually played a game against a Great Britain invitation team in Wembley Arena. Thousands of people came to watch it, and Japan put on a massive gymnastics display. Players showing what they could do. Gymnastics very much part of the Japanese volleyball culture in training the players. You can just see it in the movement of the players around the court. Beautiful start. Ishikawa to serve. Good serve, well picked up from Tong. Oh, that's a mess again. Well, no setter in sight. Jan doesn't go out and challenge for those balls because he's definitely got a knee problem and he can't run fast enough to get to those parts of the court. So the other player's taking over and two players going for the same ball. It's playground stuff, I'm afraid, from China. Miss from Ishikawa. Puts the first point on the board for the Chinese team. Good swing from Zhang. Zhang has to roll off pace. Nice pick up from Yamamoto. Wide and fast for Fukuzawa, and that is the most delicate of tips. That was the dexterity of a surgeon or a concert pianist. Just watch the way after that brilliant pickup. He just pokies this over. Look at this. Wow, that is the only millimetre that was available to put that ball into, and he's found it. So Zhang has lost his place on court. In comes the backup opposite for China, Wang Jinyi from the Shandong province. Got some good numbers, 2 meters and 2 tall, touches the ball at 360 on his spike approach. Dai continues to put the ball away in workmanlike fashion out on the wing. Slightly better pass for Shan to work with. He's fairly loosely put together, isn't he, Dai? But he gets the job done. Good set. No, just drifting. I thought that was going to be okay, but it wasn't. Zhang can't put the left-handed spike away, so Sakita goes again. And Fukuzawa, nothing delicate about that shot. Gets the big hammer out and works it off the block of Chen. That's cleverly done. Chan again. Seems to be the most relaxed and composed player out there on the Chinese court. It's a very clever play. So powerful. He is a pocket rocket. Nishida, he's a phenomenal hitter. Stood there next to his setter, Sakita, 1m75. He's 186. He must have a pocket full of kryptonite. He just gets off the floor so high. Fukuzawa with the serve. Nice pass. And a very nice kill. Something tells me Li Bin meant that. There was a little bit of anger in this hit. 5 kilometers per hour, and he's thumped Yamamoto in the chest. Yamamoto officially the shortest player out on court at the moment at 1m71, so he's only just taller than his coach. Lozano stands at 5'6", 168. Does the libero. mobility and speed around that backcourt more important than height. Well, that's the second time China have done the Japanese blockers with a really tricky little tip. This time it's Wang. Watch him just roll this off the block and out of court. Nothing that the Japanese players can do to get that back in play, as Dai points out. Liu with another good hit. He's striking the ball well today. Japan once again get themselves out of trouble with great ball control. Yumachi, their tallest player, through the middle. So substitution for China. Looks like their youngest and tallest player is coming in. Yeah, there he is. Just 18 years of age. Peng Shi-kun, middle blocker from the Sichuan province. So a few new players on court at the moment for China. Wang is out there. Now Peng is out there. But all it produces is a monster block from Japan to get us to the first technical timeout in set 2. That's a good shutdown from Yamuchi. So first stoppage in this set, first chance for the coaches to have a word with the players. Well, he's hitting the ball really well, isn't he? The number 17 for China, Liu Libin. He's kept his place on court. He's playing some good volleyball out there. So Liu Libin moves to 4 points, not the highest score at the moment on the Chinese side of the net. That belongs to the opposite player who's now been replaced. Jiang has lost his place to Wang. Jiang was on 5, and then workload being shared quite nicely on the other side of the net, although Ishikawa is the top scorer for Japan on 8. Everybody else on 4s and 3s. Shan won't have enjoyed that one, but somehow he's got the ball in the air. He's still on the floor. So if that ball had come back, then there's no way he would have been able to play it. Peng then, at the service line. Still a teenager. Well, not great from Peng, unfortunately. Stands 2 meters and 8. Very much at the start of his international senior career. Overpass will be put away, as it generally is. Fukuzawa with the kill. Just going too far. I think the little touch off the net caught Liu out on the pass. Dai off pace, well picked up. And there's the value of all-round skills. Well, this has gone China's way, so we might see our first challenge here. Nishida convinced that he's got this off the block. Well, I'm pretty sure I saw the referee point in favour of China there. Now, whether he's reversed his decision, he must have, because it's China that will now appeal it. So Japan got the decision. China will ask if this was in or out. Well, looked like it hit the block to me, so quite sure about this challenge.
Block antenna. It is clear, ball antenna.
Seemed to me whether it hit this, yeah, so it's ball in or out, but it's off the antenna is what the question is. So has it hit the antenna before or after the block? If it came off the block and hit the antenna,
Yes.
in Stay as we were. If it hit the antenna first before the block, then Japan will lose the point. China will keep its challenge. So it's Dai, the Chinese blocker, in question. It was Nishida that seemed very confident that they got this right. Coaches debate it. Here we go. We'll find out. Yeah, off the arm, into the antenna. It's Japan's point. Nishida's got it right. And Raul Lozano loses his challenge, but immediately uses that opportunity to speak to Dai about where he should have put his hands and where he should be pressing on the block. They never stop coaching, do they? The coaches. I guess that's what they're there for. But away we go again then. Japan with a commanding lead, so that service error isn't really a problem from Ishikawa. Great look inside the clipboard there of Coach Nakagaichi. Every single rotation is sketched out and put into context with numbers and variations. Now, has that caught the line? Wang isn't sure. This is when you need your teammates having had a good look to say, yeah, you can challenge that. But remember, China have already lost a challenge, so they probably don't want to have another gamble there. And that's why they've left it as the call of out. Yamauchi to serve then. Here we go, arms and legs. It's a horrible thing to pass, but China have passed it well. Tong getting it in right on top of Zhan's head. That's a pretty easy set to Chen. In turn, when the ball's on a plate like this, it's easy to hit the super spikes. And he's hit that hard. Dai to serve. That brings Liu to the front court. Number 17. Well, it's just wonderful to watch it. When Japan have control of the ball like this, they can run these multi-dimensional offenses. And as a middle blocker, just think about it. You've got 2-3 things going on in front of you. You've got to pick which one is actually going to happen. And on that occasion, Chen picked wrong. Gets his own back, though, with another relatively straightforward attack. And sometimes just doing the same thing again is as much of a deception as all the players running this way and that. Nice feed. Chen serves. Good pass, Japan. And Fukazawa seems reluctant to hit the ball unless it is absolutely there, and if there are arms in front, he's going to power tip off them. The decent feed from Sakita, just a little out of time, but a fractured block, easy for Fukazawa to put the ball down. Takes Fukazawa to 5 points in the match. The power tip picked up by China, but Chan can't play it back into court. And it's another hustle point for Japan. He's had enough, hasn't he, Chan? Doesn't look like a happy man. Fukazawa then looking to put another point on his tally. Decent pass. And another middle play. Peng this time, the new man on court, he's on for Raul. And the teenager gets his first kill of the game. It's pretty good, he's up there. No, he's not served well so far today, Chan, and that's not great either. Too easy, too easy. Super spike, but what about the set? This is incredible. Sakita's slid this underneath Onodera's armpit, and it's arrived in front of his hand for him to swing on. Watch this. That's a brilliant set. That's what you say to your middles. You jump, we'll put it there. But that's just class. Fukuzawa starting to come to life, the oldest man in the Japanese lineup these days at 32. Watching him play for the best part of 10 years, always been a class performer. Always had that little bit of something about him. The goatee suggests that bit of character from this man. But he's some player. So 5 points at the moment for Fukuzawa, but he's done quite... Wang again. And the left-hander gets it past the block, but not past the defence of Nadera. And a lovely kill from Ishikawa. Knew there was a fractured block there, knew that there was a seam to work with. The seam being the gap between the two arms of the blockers as they meet. And that's the weakest part of the block, and if you can aim at that, you can put it away. But that's a terrific pickup from the middle player for Japan. China have seen enough. No, they tried to signal a timeout, and the referee's going to play a let here. You have to signal the timeout within time. You certainly have to do it before the referee blows his whistle. And it's okay. It is a timeout. It's been given, and that's good refereeing by Mr. Ortiz. Trying to do it last to get their time out. Well, Chinese translator, 100% my favourite translator, because he always puts a little bit in of his own at the end. I wonder what the players make of that. Tell what the two Argentinian coaches are making of things at the moment. Little look between the two of them to suggest that they're not really sure what to do from here, and it looks like Jiang's going to come back in from Wang, who's made no real impression on this game. Decent touch. No, too good. Well, Sakita knew that the opposite player, Peng, in the middle, would not be able to recover in time after his attack. So he's just run Yamauchi off this terrific piece of defence. And sure enough, Peng wasn't really ready. Coach Nakagaichi enjoyed it, though. 18-10, Japan handing out a bit of a thumping here in set 2. Good enough from Liu. He's still putting the ball away. Now, as far as Onodera is concerned, the server, he thinks he saw this ball come off the block and actually hit Liu, but he can't convince anyone on his side to challenge. So Liu serves, good serve, well passed, brilliant attack. That's just class from start to finish. Great serve, wonderful ball control, Yamauchi with the kill. Good volleyball, both sides of the net. Look at that, Sakita didn't even have to move. He was exactly where he was stood, and that ball landed right on his head. Sakita to serve, off pace. Oh, he's got the ace. Well, he's done the right thing there. He's put it just over the head of the middle player, made it very tricky for Dai, who's not the most mobile of wing spikers, to get to the ball. This is accurate serving. Just goes over Peng's head, down his back, and he does Dai no favours here, because Dai was absolutely convinced he was going to play that. Another thing for the teenager to learn. Well, mainly, don't stitch your elders up when you're out on court.
Esta pelota, van a volver a hacer la pelota corta. Quédate separado allá. Van a hacer la pelota corta de nuevo.
62 years of age now, Raul Lozano. I wonder if this will be his last international outing. Maybe he will return to club volleyball after the Olympic game qualification bid. It looks unlikely that China will get there playing like this. It's not been great. Just have to hope that they can get through the zonal qualifications. So the timeout does its job. Just gets to the server. Rao back on court. Middle blocker with the serve. Nice pass. And a good block. That's more like it. Monster block at last from China. Dai next to Chen. That's good height. So it's going to be tricky if they read where the ball's going. It's a tough block to beat. And this time Dai doing what his coach has asked him to do. Just watch him get those arms around and point it all back into court. Ishikawa just flapping at that one a little bit. Normally expect him to get a good topspin snap on the ball, but just wafted it out over the sideline. So a couple of errors from the number 14. But Japan still in control at the business end of set 2. And he's been blocked again. Monster block and a monster 3-man block from China. They knew exactly where that ball was going, hit it isolated, all 3 blockers can get there, and it's Chen that's got the roof. Look at that, 62 and still loving every single second. Slightly more laconic, 59-year-old Philip Blais. There's the camera. Two-time Olympian for Team France. Played in the 1988 Seoul Olympic Games. Part of a very good French team, a lot of whom went on into coaching roles around the world. Rao continues his service run, so enough of a worry for a timeout. Will it do the trick for Japan? Fukazawa puts it away, gets himself to 6 points for the game, and that was an important kill. Just as China were finding some momentum there. Restores a very comfortable 6-point lead. And Ishikawa, top scoring at the moment for Japan. Gone off the boil a little bit, so Japan need to make sure that he's with it for the next one. And Japan come back with a bit of monster block action for themselves. The youngster, their tallest player, Yamauchi. Up, reach, press, and just about gets it into court. Oh, that's so clever, but just didn't quite work. Power tip right into the far corner from Fukazawa. And a really nice bit of cover from Li Bin. Saw that was going out, just left it. Judgment from the number 17 for China. Jiang then. This hit from him. Didn't hit that with much of his hand, hit that mostly with his wrist. Shut off. Away and out. Yamauchi to serve. Now, look at this serve. I mean, what does he do with it that makes it so tricky to pass? But he has the passers hopping around as he hits it. No, worth a chase from Ishikawa, but that wasn't coming back. I'm kind of wandering through, aren't we, to the end of this second set. Dai, 7 points for him. Good strong start to the match, but he's tailed off as well. That won't help his team. So Japan going to make a substitution. Probably need a bit more firepower in the front line, so Otaki comes in. This is a single substitution. Setters off. There's no setter on court. This is all about the block. And Otaki, with his superior height, is on to try and win the set point first up. Good hit from the service line. Well, got his fingers on the ball, Otaki, alongside Onodera. No dramas though, no alarm bells. Japan have 6 opportunities to kill the ball. Sakita, the playmaker, has to come back in. He'll be vital to setting the ball that wins the set. Oh, good try. Bit of an exhibition hit there from Nishida. Oh, no look hit down the line, but missed it by a way. 5 set points remain, 1 saved on their own serve. That's always the trickiest thing to do. And another saved. Not the best pass. Sakita at full stretch, just about gets it to the middle player, but Rao knew it was going there all the way. And I promise you, Japanese coaching staff will not be impressed here. Giving a bit of momentum back to China at the end of this set.
We have to do this one for the set, but also we have to restart the new dynamic because you are just going down. It's not the time. You go down at the end of the match.
See what I mean about the basics? You have to do this to win the set, says Philippe Lane. Not rocket science, I believe the phrase is, but that's just about getting the players off court, resetting the mind, putting the back out there, win the point. No time for highly technical information, and Dai just flexing his elbow, looks in pain there. Japan still trying to win this set, they've done it. Straight down the front of Ra's block. And an untidy finish in the end, but China with a bit of momentum towards the back end of that set, but never really competed in set 2. And Japan moved pretty comfortably into a 2 sets to lovely. 25-19, 25-20. Top scorer remains Ishikawa on 12 points. Yamachi turning in a good shift here, the middle blocker on 9 for Japan. And for China, both Liu and Dai, the 2 wing spikers, getting through a lot of work, but they're stranded at the moment on 7 points apiece. But Japan slowly, steadily and pretty calmly doing a number here on China. They lead by 2 sets to love, and the highlights still belong to Japan. As always, Hawkeye able to bring us a little bit of information behind the game. We can see what's happening with those setter contact points. That's pretty good from China, getting into the green zone. And certainly for Japan, not as easy for them to get it into the green zone off a much stronger service rotation from China. But still getting the job done. Still putting the ball away. And across the board, That's pretty solid from this Japanese team, 25-20. So Japan, good for their 2 sets to love lead. China have flattered to deceive, but not really put a consistently good run of points together. Their main problem is they're not starting well. First half of the set, they're letting Japan get away to a 2 or 3 point lead and not able to close it. So last little look at the clipboard for the Japanese players, just to make sure they know where everybody is and what they're supposed to be doing. Back onto court. Don't think we'll see too many changes on the red side of the net. Not sure how long the players on the Chinese side of the net will stay out there. I think we might see changes again, although the original substitutions that were made by Lozano didn't work. Wang came in and didn't really make an impression. So back to exactly the same rotation as set 1. It'll be Yuji Nishida, the opposite player, the 19-year-old, to start things off. Japan playing from right to left. They lead 2-0. Both teams celebrate. One celebrating because they thought it was out. Japan celebrating because the ref says that is an ace. And China surely will challenge this. Raul Lozano's not so sure, but his players seem convinced, so he's got to go with it. 2 challenges per set. If you win the challenge, you retain it. And if you lose it, you lose it. Hawkeye tells us it's a long way in. That's inside the paintwork. Goodness me. Chinese service reception, looking at that one through rose-tinted spectacles, I think. Desperate for points, desperate to get moving in this match, and they just can't make anything happen. Better pass. It's all good. Once the ball is on Shan's head, then he can do what he wants. He's a decent setter, Jan, and he's found Jiang with a really nice reverse ball. Blocker's just not quick enough to get there. Just brilliant. Exceptional player to watch, Nishida, and he defies the odds. There are no players playing in his position at his height. Think about it. Now Nelly, playing for Italy, plays in the same position as Nishida. Nelly's 2 meters and 10 tall. Nishida 185 and 186. So, as usual, we got a bit of trading here at the start of the set. Think of the set divided into 3 separate chunks, which are divided up by the technical timeouts at 8 and 16 points. And generally speaking, you'll see some trading in the first part of the set, then the better team will pull away. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Super spike from Fukazawa. Really good pass, brilliant set, and then he's put this away with serious force on that reverse pipe again. 107.9 kilometers per hour. And the Chinese block and Chinese defense just left for dead. Well, that worked. Japanese team just querying their middle blocker there. I think they felt it had gone straight through his arms, over his head, but it was a decent hit from Dai. Goes back to the service line. Good swing. Ishikawa spins it off of Chen's block. China's serving heavy. They're not serving aces, but they're serving really heavy serves, forcing Japan away from complete ball control. Should come back this. It does. Well done. And Japan can win the point. Nishida, beautiful shot. Knew exactly where that block was and exactly where the gap was. Really sweet hit. Touch lucky here, fell to the right place, and that's very nice pickup from Nishida. Then it's played on, and he gets the swing and puts it away. Good touch. Not quite this time. Middle blocker, 5 points for Chen. He'll serve next. Jump float serve usually. Easily passed. Japan have to go for a reuse here. That's a brilliant set. Oh dear. Well, Jun has taken his knee support off, but his movement is really, really poor. Good hustle from Japan to keep it in play. It was a fine bump set. But China just get to run the play again. Well, that really does send coaches over the edge. Serve over the baseline, that's fine. Serve into the net, that's not so good. 13 points. Ishikawa, top scorer for Japan, but top scorer in the match by quite some distance. Again, another composed, balanced swing, but it's not in. Back to the day job, passing the ball. And passing this sometimes dangerous serve. Nicely controlled though. Job done. Just looking who the backup setter is for China, and Ma Tianyi will be on the bench at the moment, wondering what on earth's got to happen for him to be on court, because Jun is not moving well. Wow. Super spike from Jiang, but what a set from Jun. Fast and flat, too quick for the Japanese blockers, just created the space. And a good 330 contact point. That's well up above the 2 meters and 48 net. Well, Sakita has decided to open up the middle in set 3, and he keeps feeding it. And that's a really good hit. Towering spike here from Onodera. Japan just keep their noses in front as we go into the first technical timeout, but China will be a lot happier in this set than they were in the previous two.
Kenny, you wait for pipe and left. Against opposite, number 2. Remember, easy thing, short diagonal. Go short diagonal. You have to there. Have to go to diagonal.
Ahora no lo jugamos haciendo que se la llama shoot y juega por atrás.
Both coaches working on some specifics there, far more technical timeout. Lazaro talking to his players specifically about what attack he wants them to play to get the ball on the floor. But from Philip Blaine's point of view, discussing with his players how they can cover those Chinese attacks, talking specifically about where players are hitting the ball, what they've got to do in the block. all of which can only happen if the server gets the ball over the net. Nishida with the fault. Sends Rao back to the service line. I think China have looked a bit better with Chen in the front court, so 3 rotations with him in the front line. Didn't stop that though, did he? Onodera with another thrashing shot through the middle. He's given this the treatment. Full commitment in the attack, and a beautiful set. Nice. It's got quite an elongated arm action as Dai. Looks a little awkward, but seems to get really good contact on the ball. Seems to find some nice angles. Super spike from Dai to put it away, and China holding their own here in set 3. Mark Jiang went at that one full tilt as well. Coaches won't mind that as much. That was a proper hard hit serve. It's only just missed. And penalised for net fault. Yamachi says no, and they seem pretty confident about this, so I think Japan going to challenge here. Now, because the whistle went in the middle of the rally and the rally wasn't satisfactorily concluded, if this challenge goes Japan's way, not only will they retain the challenge, but the point will be replayed. So the challenge is just simply asking, was that net fault call correct? So the referee says there was a net touch, Japan say there wasn't. It'll be sorted out by Hawkeye. From that reaction, I'd say that Coach Nakagati is quite interested in this. He wants this point. RG, so does Raul Lozano. Former Olympian, Coach Nakagati. Played in the 1992 games in Barcelona, where Japan finished in 6th place. The pressure's on. Lozano has decided that as soon as the challenges take a little bit longer, he's going to have a little chat with his opposite number.
It's okay with me.
So referee Ortiz has seen what he needs to see.
Yes.
Hawkeye will now reveal all. So a bit of split screen going on. Now here's the net touch. There we go. Shirt all the way down the front from Ishikawa. So after all that, it's China's ball. And Japan were wrong. They lose their challenge. 10-all. No need to replay the point. I mean, it's a kick in the teeth. It really is when that happens. That was the serve that had to go in. But because of the length before Dai got to hit it, too long, affected his mindset. And Jiang with a hard spike off of Ishikawa's arms and away. This would have been a monster block if it had gone down into court. Not quite, though. Well, they haven't played a pipe for a while. China onto this one, though. Free ball, Japan. Super spike again. Honestly, I saw Nishida play right at the start of his international career when he just arrived on the international scene. And he came out in the warm-up and started hitting these balls, and you just couldn't take your eyes off him. He's such a superstar. He's been pretty effective today, Nishida. 10 points now, double figures for him to join Ishikawa. And that's a good block. Rao reading Yamauchi, who immediately goes and apologises to his setter, Sakita. Thinks he probably could have got this past Rao. It was a nice set, and he just picked the power line and just hit it, when really he could have turned it back, crossed his body and won the point. Oh, it's painful. It's painful to watch, John. It's a player who isn't in the peak of physical fitness. He's definitely got a knee problem. But clearly, Coach Lozano wants to keep him out there ahead of Mao Tianyi, the backup setter. Nicely patrolled by Tong, the Chinese libero, just making sure that was going out. Now then, can Liu get the serve in? It's a shame because he's been serving really well, but there's a bit of pressure on this serve now for him to actually get it in and not miss. That might take a bit of the sting out of it. No, that's a good hit. And that's pretty sweet as well. Ishikawa, Fukazawa, my apologies, with the kill through the block, takes him to 9 points. Really nice balanced hitting from the wing spikers for Japan. 3 players now in double figures. And that ace will do nicely. Mid-phase, Japan putting the pressure on, 15-13. And Nishida takes himself to 11. So he, Yamauchi and Ishikawa now all in double figures. Good shot. No. I mean, sometimes you can't get your head around it, but why on earth would Rao be stood there trying to play the ball when his setter needs to get to it? And he's a big unit, is Rao. Stands 2 meters and 5, 100 kilos. You're not going to move him. As Lozano is explaining, that just shouldn't have happened. 16-13, second technical timeout, Japan in control. Well, it's brilliant watching Nishida in international volleyball. Fantastic to see there's a place for everybody, even at this level, and Nishida, something a little bit special on the world stage. Not many players like him. He's good value for money. There's no off switch, is there, when Nishida just keeps going and going. So, 2 decent serves. Can he find another one? That technical timeout came at the wrong time for him, really. He wanted to keep that service rhythm going. No blocks at the moment, but you would expect that with his height difference to the other players. But what he gives up in height in the front court, he makes up for with his mobility in the back line, and just couldn't quite get there. So Dai adds another point to his tally. Makes him 11. That makes him the top scorer for China at the moment. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. That's the hit of the game from Nishida. It's a flashing spike. And a super spike to boot, and he's had plenty of those today. Wow, lovely shot. Minimum of effort, real efficiency to generate 106 kilometers per hour. Nishida moves to 12 points. And characteristic miss from Fukazawa. pass from Yamamoto. Ishikawa sets up to hit one way. It goes across his body and down the line. Completely fools the block. An easy roll off the arms of Jung. So China know they're in trouble now. And Raul Lozano calling a timeout.
We are in attack. We are very good. In attack is working. We need to dig some ball. We need to dig some ball.
El 14 te está cambiando. Debe la mano ahí. Cuando hacemos 3 bloqueos, metemos la mano ahí. La defensa está acá. Están pasando los bloqueos. La pelota por acá. Ahí una tenemos que agarrar más atrás. Que nos golpee.
Japan firing it up. And once again, we hit the business end of the set. And the better, the more consistent teams start to pull away. And Adira with the jump float onto Dai. Not a great pass, not a great set. Japan for the point. Ishikawa goes off pace, and it doesn't get easier than that. And I'm afraid Japan look beaten. China look beaten, and Japan look like they're going to walk this now. Well, with all the technical timeouts and challenges these days, it's quite rare you get a match finish in under an hour and a half. But this one's going to finish in around about an hour and a half, including showers. China do something. If they're going to do it, this is the time to do it, when Japan might be thinking about the win. Ishikawa roofed. Another good block. Chen's had Ishikawa in his pocket a few times today. Jun setting the block line nicely. And then the middle closing for the monster block. And it's Chen that got all of it on the diagonal. Dai then pulling his weight for China, leading scorer at the moment for them with 11 points. He's making it look easy now, Nishida. Not even 6 feet tall, but he is some athlete. So substitution comes 11, so we're back to that old phrase, it's do that's come on, and that is the dilemma for Lozano at the start of each match, do or die. Yeah, good blocking. Ishikawa roofed a second time. And Japan need to be careful here. China have enough in the locker on these rotations to sneak a set. All it's going to take is a couple of really decent serves to put them back in touch. Not sure it'll happen on the Chen serve, but Jun is going to come up shortly. Well recovered. Free ball though. Japan to attack again. Nicely done. And Nishida is on a run of form here. He's the hot hitter, and he's nearly the top scorer. Just a single point now behind Ishikawa on 14. Ishikawa on 15 leads the scoring rotation. A last throw of the dice for Raul Lozano for his Chinese team.
Tenemos que recuperar algún toque, alguna defensa. Es eso lo que nos está faltando. El bloqueo ya hizo 3 puntos. Ahora tenemos que recuperar en defensa, si no, no es el partido del bloqueo, es el partido de la defensa. Hay que meter más la defensa. Sea la empujada que el toque. No puede caer más. Vamos vencidos.
Translator reflecting Raul Lozano's mood and giving his players a proper telling off there. seen it all down the years as Raul Lozano, but he can't get this Chinese team playing at the moment on the VNL. It's come off the hands of Zhang. And it's another point. Now, China might challenge this, and you can never tell, can you, with Zhang's facial expression, what he's thinking. Just looks permanently fed up, but Japan, as far as they are concerned, as far as Nishida's concerned, he's just played this off of Zhang's hands and out. China disagree. For Lalo Schifrin's 1967 Mission Impossible music to accompany the challenge. Focus.
Girl, what do you have? For me, touch. For me, touch.
Lozano's always used that hand gesture to suggest focus to his players. Crowd getting with it. Shouldn't laugh, this is serious. China win this point, then they've still got a shot at this set.
You have a girl. For me, touch. For me, it's a touch ball. Yes, yes, yes.
So we're hearing from referee Ortiz that for him it's a touch.
Yes.
So the referee thinks it's come off the hands.
Go ahead, please.
Hector Ortiz, Puerto Rico. And of course, he can see the big screen, so he can see the fan behind him. And there we go, off the little pinky finger of Zhang. And as far as Raul Lozano is concerned, after it touched the finger, there was still a Japanese hand on the ball, and consequently it's Japan that have basically thrown it out of play. But it's it, that's it. Decision's been made, it's gone. Lozano can keep talking about this. It is a bone of contention for coaches who had the last touch, and if you're going to allow players to throw the ball as much as they do in international level, if you're going to let them push the envelope that way, then you've also got to look at very carefully whose hand was on the ball last.
Of course, it looked like a catch, but no, it's not my appreciation, right? No, all right.
So as far as Hector Ortiz is concerned, he's seen it. It's come off the finger. It is definitely Japan's point. So gets hold of the ball, pushes it. Well, got a really good point there, Raul Lozano. Yeah, he's got a good point. Nishida probably did have the last touch on that ball. That was very sporting of Ishikawa. Volleyball gods have spoken then. It must have been China's point. Now, here we go. Here's the man who just felt wronged on that last challenge. He hasn't served well at all today. Can he do something here? Net touch slows it down. Good work from Yamamoto. Nice recovery. And a mega rally coming here. Good defense from Japan to keep this ball in play. It's wide from Fukazawa. And despite all that work, it is China that come up with the point. Some really good hustle, some lovely little plays in there. That's great work from Yamamoto off the block. And again. Well, it's bizarre, isn't it? That challenge went Japan's way, but China were aggrieved, and since then, China have been on the comeback trail. Zhang again, 2 aces would do well here. It's not going to happen though, and he fell over after hitting that and landed on his bad leg. He's limping again. He's not fit, Zhang, but he's still out on the floor. Chun, not the only one limping. Japan limping towards the end of this game. Still only 2 points in it. That's not home and dry yet. And this man's been serving very well. Liu Libin. Decent pass. Oh, superb. And what a time to find a monster block. Rao's just roofed Nishida. Big stop from China. And Japan deciding that'll be enough of that for the moment. Timeout called. Brilliant stop from Rao. Quite clearly heard there Nishida saying sorry to his teammates, but he's been hitting brilliantly. He's been running the show for the last part of this set. Just got stopped the once. Single point in it. Better pass. And into the net from Ishikawa, but it's gone down the net on the Chinese side. And Japan will do the same as they've done in other parts of the set. They're just going to strengthen the block, not bother with the setter on court, and just send out Atake to try and win it here off the serve. So 2 match points for Japan. Nishida to serve. Great hit. China hanging in there. Japan, though, can finish it. It's coming back. And Nishida misses, although he thinks he's touched the block, and I think this will be a Japan challenge here. So effectively challenging for the match. It looks to me to be well wide of the court, so I think the challenge is about, did it touch the block? That's what Nishida is saying. But it's going to be Hawkeye in or out. Well, that was always out. That wasn't ever going to be going Japan's way. The only thing they could have asked for there was the block, and they didn't. Well, that just stops the match again and just puts a little more pressure on them. Jump float serve then from Rao. 1 match point remaining for Japan. Nishida given the responsibility, and he puts it away. Great set from Sakita. And really trusted his opposite to do the job. And this time, he does the job. Well, another day at the office for those 2 great coaches, but for the teams down on the floor, Japan picked themselves up another victory, so that's 3 wins in 4 matches for them. For China, they just can't get another tick in the win column, and that 3-0 victory against Bulgaria in week 2 must seem like a long, long time ago now. Well, that's nice to see between both teams as they finish off with the handshakes at the net. China, though, must be feeling it. And with the USA to come tomorrow, it's only going to get tougher here in Chicago. But for Japan, they've done a job. They've got the victory they were looking for from this one. And now will fancy taking it to Canada in their final game tomorrow. So a quick thank you to the loyal fans, of which there are plenty. Japan 50% at the moment here in the USA. And also didn't expend too much energy. That match lasted just over the 1.5 hour mark. And that's what China will be really upset with, because they just didn't offer any resistance. There was that one opportunity at the back end of set 3 to try and cause a problem, and they couldn't do it. And having taken a set off Canada yesterday and played pretty well in patches in that game, looked like a very different team in this one. No consistency at all today and no real threat from the service line from the likes of Jung. So game 1 is done for day 2 here on week 4 of the VNL in Chicago in Hoffman Estates, a suburb of this great city. And there we go, 3-love to Japan, outscoring China, not out-blocking them, but out-serving them and keeping it nice and tidy, both teams really, on those opponent errors. Well, let's have a look back at the match point. Nishida, remember, just missed one, but gave it everything on that. Full concentration in the air, lovely balanced jump, great set. And that's what it meant to both he and Sekida. Good setting from Sekida and really trusted his opposite man to do the job, and he's done it well. So game 1 on day 2 finishes with a 3-0 victory to Japan. China with 1 game left to try and find a victory in week 4. That's it then for our first match, USA and Canada to come. But for now, thanks for watching and thank you for being part of the game.